On Tuesday, May 19, 2025, Kyle Busch was at an arcade with his 11-year-old son Brexton. He was laughing. He was present. A man named Naz Idoura was there and noticed them together. Said the moment felt too special to interrupt, so he didn't. Mario Andretti was at the same event. He took a video on his phone of Kyle smiling and shaking his hand. Andretti later showed that video to reporters at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and said it was the shock of his life when he heard what happened next. 24 hours after that video was taken, Kyle Busch was on a bathroom floor in Concord, North Carolina, coughing up blood, telling a 911 caller he thought he was going to pass out. By Thursday morning, he was gone, 41 years old, 2 Cup Series championships, 234 wins across NASCAR's top 3 series, a wife, a son who wants to race just like his dad, a daughter who had just turned 4, and a brother sitting somewhere right now who still hasn't found the words. This is not a story about what we don't know, though there is plenty of that. This is the story of 11 days. From a routine radio call at Watkins Glen that nobody thought twice about, to a Thursday morning that the racing world was not prepared for. And embedded inside those 11 days are moments so ordinary and so final that they are genuinely hard to sit with. Sunday, May 10th, Watkins Glen International, the Cup Series. Kyle was driving the number 8 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, and for the first time all season, the car was actually good. He was running inside the top 10. He was making moves. He looked, for a few hours, like the Kyle Busch that fans remembered from the Joe Gibbs racing years, the one who made everything look effortless. With a few laps to go, he keyed his radio and asked his team to find a doctor named Bill Heisel at Ortho, Carolina. He said he needed a shot after the race. His spotter asked if he wanted the doctor at his car or at his motorhome. Kyle said the motorhome. That transmission went out live on the Fox Sports broadcast. Mike Joy explained it to millions of viewers without concern. Kyle had been fighting a sinus cold all week. Watkins Glen is a road course with elevation changes and high G-forces that turn any kind of head pressure into misery. Sinus cold plus road course. That was the whole story at the time. He finished 8th. Best result of his entire 2026 season. Everyone moved on. But here is one thing worth knowing about that moment. Bill Heisel is not a track medic. He is the director of motorsports medicine at Ortho, Carolina, the most trusted medical provider in the NASCAR garage. Drivers do not ask for Bill Heisel by name unless they know exactly who he is and exactly what they need from him. Kyle knew. It was also Lennox's 4th birthday that day. While a 4-year-old was blowing out birthday candles at home, her father was at a racetrack 2 states away, asking a doctor for help. 5 days later, Kyle would tell reporters he was still not feeling great. But on May 10th, with an 8th place finish and a quiet radio call, something had already started. Friday, May 15th. Dover Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Kyle qualified on pole, swept both stages, led 147 of 200 laps, beat Ty Majeski to the finish line by more than 3 seconds. His 69th career Truck Series victory, a record that may never be matched, and a number that now carries a weight it was never supposed to carry. After the race, Fox Sports reporter Amanda Busick asked him why winning never gets old. He said you take whatever you can get because you never know when the last one is going to be. So cherish them all. Trust me on that. He said it with a smile. He said it like a man who had been grinding in Cup for 2.5 years and was just happy to be back in victory lane doing what he loved. Later, in a follow-up press scrum, a reporter asked how many more wins he wanted. He said the same thing again. You never know when the last one is going to be. Twice in the same press session. 6 days before he died. I want to be honest about what that means and what it doesn't. Drivers say things like this all the time. It is racing language the same way giving it 100% is. Kyle was not secretly aware of anything. He was just a man reflecting on the fact that wins had become harder to come by than they used to be. But context changes everything. When you watch that interview back now, knowing what was coming in 6 days, those words feel like something no screenwriter would dare put in a script. The next day, Saturday at Dover, Kyle told reporters the cough from the previous week had been pretty substantial and that he still was not feeling great. Nobody panicked. He had just won a race the night before. Drivers race through illness. That is the culture. Nobody saw a reason to treat this differently. Monday, May 18th. Brexton Busch turned 11 years old. Kyle posted a carousel of photos on Instagram, Brexton growing up on racetracks, in victory lanes through the years. He wrote that he and Samantha were so proud of who Brexton was turning into and that there was no limit to what the kid could accomplish. That post is still on Kyle's Instagram. It was the last thing he ever put on social media. 3 days before he died, he was a father celebrating his son's birthday and writing about how proud he was. Samantha posted that same day. She wrote about watching Brexton become this driven, funny, kind-hearted little man and called it the greatest gift. She said no matter how tall he gets or how fast he drives, he will always be her baby. 3 days later, she lost her husband. Those words were written in complete joy. They now exist in a completely different world. The next day, Tuesday, Kyle and Brexton drove to Durham for the grand opening of an Andretti indoor karting facility. Mario Andretti was there. Kyle played arcade games with his son. A stranger watched them and decided not to interrupt because the moment felt too good to break. Mario Andretti took a video on his phone. That was Tuesday, May 19th. Wednesday morning, Kyle drove to the GM Charlotte Technical Center in Concord for simulator work. Standard weekly routine, nothing unusual. Nothing that would tell anyone standing next to him that anything was different. At approximately 5:30 that evening, someone at that facility called 911. The Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office released the audio of that call. The caller told the dispatcher there was an individual experiencing shortness of breath, that the person was very hot and thought he was going to pass out, that the person was producing blood, coughing up blood, that he was on the bathroom floor but was still conscious. The caller repeated 3 times that Kyle was awake. He asked the paramedics to come in without sirens. He directed them to a side entrance. That call is the only public medical evidence that exists about what was happening to Kyle Busch's body in those final hours. Everything else, the sinus cold at Watkins Glen, the shot he needed after the race, the cough at Dover, the comment about still not feeling great on Saturday, those were pieces of something building. The bathroom floor in Concord was where it broke through. Kyle was transported to a hospital in the Charlotte area. The name of the hospital has never been publicly confirmed. Thursday morning, May 21st, a statement appeared on Kyle's social media from his family. It said he had experienced a severe illness resulting in hospitalization and would not compete at Charlotte Motor Speedway that weekend. Richard Childress Racing named Austin Hill as his replacement for the Coca-Cola 600. RCR said the number 8 Chevrolet would be ready and waiting for Kyle when he got better. A few hours later, a joint statement from the Busch family, Richard Childress Racing, and NASCAR confirmed that Kyle Busch had passed away. 2 words for cause of death: severe illness. No hospital. No medical condition, no explanation of what turned the man laughing at an arcade on Tuesday into a 911 call on Wednesday and a family statement on Thursday morning. Hours after the announcement, Dale Earnhardt Jr. posted something on X that the entire racing world stopped to read. Not a generic tribute, not a Bible verse, a story. He wrote that he and Kyle had what he called a really challenging existence for many years. And if you followed NASCAR between 2005 and 2017, you know that is one of the most restrained descriptions of a rivalry ever put into words. These two went at each other on the track, off the track, in interviews, and through the media for the better part of a decade. When Rick Hendrick released Kyle from Hendrick Motorsports after the 2007 season, specifically to make room for Dale Jr. on the roster, that added a personal layer to their tension that quietly followed both men around the garage for years. But here's the part that hit everyone in the chest: 11 days. From a routine radio call at Watkins Glen on a Sunday afternoon when his daughter was turning 4, to a Thursday morning statement that the racing world was not ready to read. In between, a record-breaking win at Dover. Words about cherishing every victory because you never know when the last one is coming. A birthday post for a son he was so proud of. An afternoon at an arcade that a stranger thought was too beautiful to interrupt. A video on Mario Andretti's phone of a man smiling and shaking hands, and then a bathroom floor. A 911 call. A hospital. 2 words, severe illness, and a number 8 Chevrolet sitting in a garage in Charlotte, waiting for a driver who was never coming back. Kyle Busch was not a universally beloved figure during his racing years. He was polarizing in the specific way that only the genuinely great ones are. Too fast to ignore, too confident to embrace easily, too good for anyone to look away from. He was booed at tracks where other drivers were cheered. He won anyway. He kept winning until he had 234 of them. And at 41 years old, he was still texting the NASCAR CEO about rule changes for next season, still making plans to race Dale Jr.'s cars at North Wilkesboro, still sitting in an arcade with his kid on a Tuesday evening, like a man who had no idea Tuesday was one of the last good ones. He said it himself, 6 days before he died, standing in a victory lane at Dover with a smile on his face. You never know when the last one is going to be. Cherish them all. Trust me. He was right. He had no idea how right he was.